If you live in Spain, you'll already be nodding. And if you don't, you're going to think I'm exaggerating. But I promise you, every single one of these is real. And if you're thinking of moving here, then just consider it a friendly warning. All right, let's start with noise because Spain isn't just loud, it's alive. Builders banging away at 8 o'clock in the morning, completely acceptable. Kids shouting at midnight, cultural. Random fireworks on a Tuesday, well, obviously. But the funny thing is, if I drop a spoon at midnight, I feel like I'm committing a crime. And it's not that things are loud, people talk loud. Conversations aren't whispered, they're more projected. And talking in Spain is basically a form of light shouting. And it makes me laugh because sometimes I will hear two sides of a conversation when someone's on a phone. They will be shouting down the phone to the person on the receiving end, and the person on the receiving end, I can hear every single word they're saying back. So it often makes me wonder if there's actually any need for a phone at all. But it's not aggressive, it's expressive, it's warmth, it's connection. And silence here doesn't feel peaceful, it feels, I suppose it feels wrong. Okay, next let's talk about deliveries because in Spain your package doesn't arrive late, it arrives eventually. And the tracking apps that are used here are just pure fiction. Estimated delivery dates are optimistic at best, and when the app does say out for delivery, that can last several days. I've genuinely had packages turn up here when the app insisted that the package was still stuck in customs clearance. At the same time, I've also had packages marked on the app as delivered while I'm standing here holding nothing. I think at this point, the tracking apps in Spain aren't tracking the package, it's more about tracking your expectations. If this has happened to you, please tell me I'm not alone in the comments. Okay, the next one is shop opening hours because in Spain there's specific hours that you can get jobs done, and if it's during siesta time you've got no chance whatsoever. Countless times I've checked Google and Google says the shop's open. I walk up and the door's locked, or better still there's a note on the door that says volvemos a las 5. We return at 5. You check your watch, it's 10 past 5, and guess what? Still no one there. And one of the things that I've noticed is always when you need something urgently. For example, when we was renovating this house, countless times I needed an item. I'd get in my car, I'd shoot down to the shop, it's 10 to 2 in the afternoon. I pull up there at 1:58 and the shop's already closed. And it's not just normal shops, it's banks as well, because with the banks in Spain, you have certain times of the day that you can get things done. So, for example, if you want to pay a bill, it's between 8 and 10 a.m. If you want to draw out cash over the counter, it's between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. That's if you manage to get to the counter, because every single bank I've ever banked in Spain, they have a queue which is outside the door, and they've got one bank teller struggling to get the work done. And meanwhile, the teller's got 6 colleagues that are sitting at desks just watching the struggle. So you've got two choices in Spain. You either wait or you adapt. Okay, the next one is one of my favourites as well, and that is the queuing system in Spain, because I'm absolutely convinced the queuing system in Spain is nothing more than a social experiment. There's no clear beginning or no clear end in the queues, and somehow everyone seems to know where they stand. I've seen people joining queues from the side and then someone just saying, oh, I was here first, and nobody argues, but somehow it still works. It looks like chaos, but I'm sure it's just a queuing system which is built on trust. And this is another one I've noticed while we're on the subject of queues. You can be in a supermarket, it always happens to me in supermarkets. I've stood there, I've done the typically British thing, I've stood in the queue, and then somebody comes behind you with just one item or two items, and everybody in the queue allows that person to jump the queue because they've got less items than they're carrying. Or another firm favourite I see weekly is you're queuing and then somebody will come from the side and just start talking to the cashier, and while they're talking to them, they'll then be picking stuff up off of the shelves that are around the cashier's desk and putting them through. So yeah, this is something even after 20 years I just don't understand. So if you do understand Spanish queues, Please let me know in the comments because I'd love to know how they work. Okay, and the next one is dining out. Now in Spain at 8 p.m, the restaurants are technically open but emotionally unavailable. And what I mean by that is if you actually look around, you'll see empty tables, kitchens that are not ready, staff that are mildly confused by your presence, and menu boards still being put up. And the reason for this is that it's normal that families eat between 10 and 11 p.m, particularly in the summer. So while they're waiting to eat, they're chatting loudly, sipping wine or enjoying a beer, and it's like they've been at it for hours. And then you walk in at 8:30, absolutely starving, and you realise that you're the only person who's actually in a hurry. The chef looks at you like, "Are you lost?" And then you suddenly realise, yeah, I think I am. So you've got two options. You either wait or you join in and just embrace the late night life. Okay, so joking aside, I should say this. I absolutely love this country. I've lived in Spain for over 20 years and none of those things I've mentioned are complaints. They're just little things that you still notice as a foreigner even after all this time. And honestly, most of them are, I think, part of why Spain is Spain. And if you do stay here long enough, you do definitely stop fighting them. You adapt, and one day you just realise that you probably wouldn't want it any other way, even though it can be frustrating at times. Anyway, please let me know in the comments which one of these hit you hardest, or what problem in Spain have you come across maybe that I haven't listed. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this vlog, as always, I'm going to ask you to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it really helps this small channel to continue to grow. Anyway, thank you for watching. Enjoy whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, and I'll catch you in the next one.